guys, and welcome back to our channel. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ken, and today we're here to talk about Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. This is the sequel to Knives Out, which came out in 2019. And this one is exclusively on Netflix, whereas the first one was in theaters. This one was in theaters too for a couple of weeks, but then it went away and then came back on Netflix. So we're going to talk about this movie. We're going to give our thoughts on it. We just watched it a couple nights ago. We watched it on Christmas Day, actually.
Yeah.
So we're going to give our thoughts. But before we do that, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk about movies and TV and entertainment and just all that kind of stuff. If you like that kind of stuff, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button. Also, be sure
like the video.
To like the video, like she said. And then let us know in the comment section below. I feel like the thoughts on this movie are all over the place. Some people, really like it. They say it's better than the first one. Some people say it's not as good. Some people right in the middle. Let us know where you lie, where your opinion lies in that comment section below. Again, it is easily accessible on Netflix. If you have Netflix, you can watch the movie. Yeah, where do you want to go from here? Do you want to talk about the first one? Our thoughts on that?
Yeah, so with the first one, I've only seen it one time, and, it was when it first came out, so it's been a while. I don't remember, everything. I remember, liking it pretty good.
Yeah.
I do remember there being a part where I kind of zoned out and got a little bored maybe. I don't know if that was just, I don't remember if that movie was super long or not.
I feel like it was a little bit longer than this one. I feel like it was like 2.5 hours. This was about 2 hours and 15 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like it might have just overstayed its welcome, as with a lot of movies do nowadays. I will say though, just right out of the bat. Is that what they say? Right
out of the gates.
Right out of the right out of the
right off the bat. Right off the bat or right out of the gate.
Yeah, that works. I did enjoy this one more than the first one.
Yeah.
So.
And I would agree with that. I really did like the first one. I thought it was a little overhyped. Everybody was saying that was one of the best movies of 2019. I would maybe put it in my top 30 or something. I thought it was pretty good, but like you said, it did overstay its welcome. I thought it revealed the mystery like way too soon. And then what it set up after that wasn't near as compelling as what came before it. Whereas this one, I felt like the mystery, the through line, the mystery just remained throughout the entire film, and it didn't give away too much until you got to the very end.
Right.
So yeah, I would say that I like this one more. Again, I really did like the first one, but I just like this one a lot more, I think.
Yeah, I mean, with this one, with the second one, I feel like, you felt like you knew what was happening, but then they kept going back in and adding details and layers to the story. A
little bit of the non-linear storytelling.
Right. Which I will say was a little confusing. But overall, it kind of just kept the mystery going a little bit longer. And, it kind of went into the title of Glass Onion. Onions have layers.
Yeah.
And as our pal Shrek said, onions have layers.
Yeah, I would say that, I've heard some complaints about this one where the mystery, like people saw it coming from like a mile away.
Yeah, I have too.
And I don't want to get into spoilers on this one or the first one, especially if you haven't seen them. But I thought that the mystery in this one, you kind of saw it coming. But again, that kind of goes into the title of the movie, the glass onion, the layers that you can see the center of.
Right. It has a twist.
It does. But I thought that all the twists that it inserted along, maybe you saw the ending coming, but I thought all the twists that it inserted were good enough to kind of throw you off track and make you second guess what you thought you already knew.
Right.
So I thought at the end of the day, it was still a very compelling mystery that kept me guessing till the end, even though the ultimate, reveal you kind of saw coming from the beginning. Yeah, I would say.
But, with this one, just to give you like a quick plot, this is, basically about a group of friends, and they are invited by their super wealthy friend to his private island, and they are going to solve, he's kind of put together this murder mystery. It's supposed to be the murder mystery of himself that he's set up for fun. He's played by Edward Norton. His name is Miles in the movie.
Yeah, which it's nice to see Edward Norton back in a movie. I don't feel like he does much anymore, and he was one of my favorite actors for a long time.
Yeah, he kind of plays this over the top, like I said, wealthy man who, he has so much money that he's like bored, and he is just like everything's just boring, even though he has all this money, and he's just trying to find ways, I feel like, to entertain himself.
Yeah.
And so, like I said,
he hires Gillian Flynn to write the mystery, which is the author of Gone Girl, I believe.
Okay, see, I didn't even
Yeah.
catch who he was talking about, but
Yeah.
so yeah, he puts together a very elaborate murder mystery for his friends to come solve, and it kind of just, escalates.
It ends
from
up
there.
unfolding, I guess, into a real life murder mystery. So it's kind of meta with him setting up the murder mystery, and then it kind of
Right.
goes into a murder mystery. So this is I guess you would say this is a sequel to Knives Out, but it's kind of anthology in the way that, it's not the same cast as the first movie, except
Right.
for Daniel Craig. He's like the through line as Benoit Blanc, I believe is his name.
Yeah, he plays
but-
the detective.
Yeah, and I think there's supposed to be more sequels after this too, with just him
At least
in it.
another one.
Yeah, at least another one. So it's going to kind of have a new cast of characters with just him kind of being the through line. But it's not a sequel in the sense that all the events from the first one are carrying over from
Right.
this. You don't really reference anything that happened in the first film in this one. Maybe they did some stuff like, in the background or something, like maybe some Easter eggs, but I didn't really notice anything. The only real connection is Daniel Craig.
Right, yeah. Which it's kind of like The White Lotus, the show that we've been watching on HBO Max. So.
I would say very similar to that with Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah, but just kind of getting into the cast, which I feel like, that this is the case with most movies, I guess, where the cast kind of, makes the movie. But I feel like this is very, heavily focused on the characters.
Yeah.
They are definitely a interesting group of people.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned, we've got Daniel Craig coming back as the detective. We have Edward Norton as the rich buddy who has put together this whole thing. We've also got Kate Hudson. She's
Kate
playing
Hudson. Somebody else you don't really see a ton of anymore.
Yeah, she's playing someone named Birdie. She's kind of like this fashion model.
I think she's like a clothing designer as well. And she,
Yeah.
I think she designed like some sweatpants or something that like.
Yeah, so something that we didn't mention either is they kind of talk about COVID and the lockdown in this movie.
Yes, they do.
It starts
Not
with,
in a way that's like heavy-handed though.
no,
Yeah.
this basically, I think this kind of plays into Miles, which is played by Edward Norton, his boredom. They've basically kind of, been locked in, and they kind of talk about it too with the detective. He's been bored because he hasn't been able to solve any mysteries and crimes and stuff. So we've also got Dave Bautista.
Yep.
He is playing a character named Duke, which he plays a very silly character. He's kind of like this internet. I don't know if they said he was a Twitch star.
He's a Twitch streamer, so he plays
Twitch
video games online.
Right, and so he kind of plays this, the classic grown man who still lives at home with his mom.
Yeah. Kind of a strange character for Batista to play. If I'm being honest,
big, strong, manly man.
yeah, I didn't dislike his character, but he was probably my least favorite character in the movie.
Yeah, definitely a little silly. And then we've got Janelle Monáe, I think is how you say it. She plays someone named Andy.
She's kind of the outsider of the group,
Right.
who has a backstory that it's not really revealed in the beginning, but you get more pieces as you go. But
Right. And then there are definitely quite a few people in this movie, but another big name in the movie is Catherine Hahn.
Yep.
She plays Claire. She's basically, I think she's a governor or a...
she's either already a politician or she's running. I think she's running for governor.
No, I think that it said and now we
Is she the governor?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
because she was on TV talking and stuff.
Yeah,
so
and they've all been helped by Edward Norton's character in some way.
They all have some kind, because they're all basically, big names, and they also have their own money and stuff too. They're just not as wealthy as Miles. But yeah, he's basically kind of helped them all get out of something one way or another through their careers.
They all have a past together, kind of in some spots a dark, controversial past. There's definitely nefarious motivations there for some of them, I feel like, and they set all that stuff up in the beginning,
right,
to kind of keep you guessing when the actual murder mystery part of it takes over. But yeah, I thought the cast was really good. It's a very different pairing of actors and characters. Like, I don't think that any of these people have ever been in a movie together. So it was kind of cool to see all of them together. I don't think that the cast is as strong as the original Knives Out. I do think I would put that cast over this cast. I mean, you had Jamie Lee Curtis, Toni Collette, Don Johnson. I mean, you had Christopher Plummer and Chris Evans, and just so many people in that first one. But it's still a very good cast, and I think all of them have really good chemistry together in the movie.
Yeah, I do too. So did you have like a favorite character?
It's hard not to say Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc. I love the Southern accent that he brings into it. He just has like a swagger and a charm to him. I really need to watch those James Bond movies, like the newer ones. I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah.
Because I like him in everything I've seen, but I haven't seen the James Bond movies, and that's like the thing he's known for the most. But
right,
I really liked him in this movie. I liked him and Edward Norton, I would say, as well.
Yeah.
Like their interactions.
See, for me, Daniel Craig's character grew on me. Even though we had been around him in the first movie, but the country accent like kind of annoyed me a little bit because you could tell that it wasn't like authentic or whatever. Yeah. I felt like it just was not a good
I feel
country.
Like that, I can tell that too, but I feel like that's part of the charm, and it kind of like ups the comedic value of his character a little bit for me.
Yeah, but he definitely did grow on me throughout the movie. But I don't know. I think I have to agree with you, though, that it's definitely him and Edward Norton. Yeah. Edward Norton, like I mentioned, he kind of plays this he's almost kind of spazzy and just like one of those full of energy and geniuses. I think they kind of talked about it because he still uses
let's
facts.
not reveal too much. They kind of go into that a little bit at the end.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, I would agree with you that those are probably my two favorite.
And Edward Norton's not giving like some kind of great performance or anything, but it's just always, for me, it just, when I see Edward Norton, I'm like, I'm glad to have Edward Norton back. I feel like he could just sit there and give a regular performance, and it just stands out above everybody else because he's so good.
Yeah. So would you say that you have any problems with the film?
So I do want to call out one more. I do think that Janelle Monáe gives a really good performance because she's required to, I don't want to get into spoilers, but she's required to do a lot in this movie in terms of her performance, kind of shifting back and forth through tones. She's required to do a lot in this movie, and I think that she handles and balances it all very well. So I do want to call her out. I think she's a standout of the movie as well. The problems that I have with this movie, I don't know. I don't know if I have any like specific problems. I like the way that everything develops. I think it has a really good pace. I don't think this is a masterpiece by any means. You do see quite a few things coming. I think that the opening of the movie kind of is a little annoying when it's trying to introduce you to all the characters. I think they don't come off the best in the beginning. They definitely develop them as they go. But
gotcha.
I think once you get to the islands with the glass onion and stuff, things start to come together.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think for me, again, kind of like what you said, you kind of see something's coming, and then the way that they choose to tell the story can be a little bit confusing at times. Just whenever you're not doing the like linear storytelling, right? Is that what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Whenever you're kind of going back and forth a little bit, sometimes it can just be a little confusing, or I don't know. But But I mean, I feel like the movie looked really good. Like it was a very, color, like bright, colorful. Of course, they're like, on a tropical island or whatever. So it looked really great. I also enjoyed the music, the soundtrack. I don't know if you remember any of the.
I don't actually. I didn't pick up on the music.
It was almost kind of like, I don't know. I want to say like La La Land. Like it was very like.
Really? I'll have to go back and listen to it.
Like like more upbeat songs in La La Land, like Another Day of Sun. I don't know. I think when I was watching it, there was another movie that came to mind as well. But I enjoyed the music. I thought that it was really like fun, and
definitely had a good look to it. And I will say again, comparing this one to Knives Out, this one felt much more like a traditional like Clue type murder mystery. Like it just had more of those like murder mystery vibes than I feel like Knives Out did.
Yeah, something that we haven't really talked about either, which I don't know if the first one, I feel like it probably was, but this like is definitely like a comedy as well.
Oh yeah, they definitely play into the comedic aspects. They have some of that in the first one as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, with Chris Evans' character, like he was very comedic in the first one.
Yeah, this one I feel like kind of, you know, made fun of some stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit, just like with being rich and the stuff that like rich people do, and there's definitely a lot of comedic aspects to it, while also still being, you know, a mystery thriller. I forget the other things that said it was.
Thriller. Yeah, Ryan Johnson, who I don't think we talked about yet. You know, he's definitely done a lot of mystery type stories in the past. He did a movie called Brick in 2005 with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Looper is one of my favorite science fiction action films. That's probably still my favorite movie that he's done. I like Knives Out. Again, I don't think it's great. And I would say, I don't know if I could call this movie great too, but I just really liked the flow of this movie. So this may honestly be my second favorite Ryan Johnson film. And he also did a Star Wars film that everybody hated. So I guess I can bring that up too, The Last Jedi.
Yeah. So let's just rate it. You want to rate it?
Well, let's rate it. Let's get into it.
So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5.
I was, you know, when we first got done watching it, I was like, I really like that. And I was kind of leaning towards a 4.5 out of 5, but I think that's too high because I've kind of come down off that high since we watched it. So I'll agree with you. Hate to agree with you, but I'll give it a 4 out of a 5 as well. Whereas I would give the first movie, Knives Out, a 3.5 out of 5. So I think this one is definitely better for me.
Yeah, this one was just, you know, it was a lot of fun. It was just entertaining. You know, I liked all the cast together.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I thought
it was over 2 hours, but it didn't feel like it.
It didn't.
It really didn't feel like it. So I got to give it credit for that, just kind of keeping our attention. So
right, exactly.
For sure. But
4 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Hit the like button. Also, let us know your thoughts on the movie if you watched it in the comments section below. Turn on those bell notifications and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We talk movies, TV. We definitely have big plans going into the new year, 2023. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.